Thank you all for being here and joining us. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Welcome back home again in Indiana. It's also a privilege to welcome home another Hoosier, Secretary Azar and Dr. Redfield, and then, of course, we want to thank Catalent and the whole team. It's good to be back. It seems like almost exactly a year ago we were together talking about expansion, but little did we know before the pandemic hit that we would be in this exact situation. Mr. Vice President, I think it's appropriate to say that we're just so here in your home state, so proud of your leadership on the task force and your whole team's laser focus on being so accessible on a day-in, day-out basis, whether it's on the phone or Zoom or words of encouragement, making sure that we literally have what we need when we need it. That has been very comforting, and I can tell you I have a favorite song around this time of the year called "Oh Holy Night." And thinking about where we are, seeing news clips yesterday of trucks being loaded, deliveries being made, sleeves being rolled up, shots being administered. If you think back to one of those verses, just a couple lines of "Oh Holy Night," and I quote, "A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoice. For yonder breaks in a new and glorious morn." And I can tell you, I think that's what Hoosiers and Americans are feeling right now. We can see the light. And it's more than hope because of everyone that's gathered around this table and a lot of other tables around America. And so for that, we are just so proud again to say, what can we do to be part of the solution? And it's not just this conversation that's important for our nation's future, but actually part of getting us through this. And so welcome home. It's also a real honor and privilege to welcome Secretary Azar. And Mr. Secretary, you might have some opening comments as well.
Well, thank you so much, Governor Holcomb. It's a delight to be back home in Indiana. But I want to say to the people of Indiana, you are so lucky to have Governor Holcomb. He has been with the Vice President and the other governors, such a constant and steadfast leader throughout this entire crisis. And I just want to thank everybody at Catalent for welcoming us here today. Just incredible to see what you all are doing as part of this response. We face very challenging trends around the country in the spread of the virus, but this week, hope is on the way. FDA authorized safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines are arriving at sites across the country, and they're being administered to millions of Americans. And on top of the vaccine that's currently being shipped, it's likely, we hope, that the Moderna vaccine may be authorized in the coming days if it meets FDA's rigorous standards. That Moderna product, as all of you know, is being produced in part by the team here at Catalent, while Catalent also works to produce other critical Operation Warp Speed vaccine candidates and therapeutics. Pending the successful authorization of other vaccine options, and thanks to the remarkable manufacturing work of places like Catalent, we expect to have enough supplies to vaccinate every American who wants it by the end of the second quarter of 2021. We believe we'll have enough product to vaccinate 20 million people by the end of December. We believe we'll have enough product to vaccinate a total of 50 million people by the end of January combined. And we believe that we can have 100 million shots in arms between first and second doses by the end of February. We think it's realistic that our nation's governors could begin general vaccination programs in late February or early March. We just signed an additional 100 million dose contract with Moderna for the delivery of additional Moderna vaccine, and we're in active and productive discussions with Pfizer. Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca could have data readouts from their clinical trials which have already enrolled many tens of thousands of individuals in early to mid-January, and we would hope be approved soon thereafter, adding massive additional quantities to our arsenal. We currently have contracts guaranteeing the purchase of 900 million doses of vaccine, with options to buy up to 3 billion doses of vaccine. Next week, assuming the authorization by the FDA of the Moderna vaccine, we would expect to ship 5.9 million doses of Moderna vaccine from this very facility, 2 million doses of Pfizer vaccine, which would represent 1/2, approximately, of our releasable supply for next week, because of course we reserve the second dose that individuals will need. Now, part of the reason that we're here today is to underscore the incredible safety and effectiveness of these vaccines. These vaccines go through the typical numerous stages of safety review and more. The vaccine that we're distributing has gone through clinical trials much larger than many vaccine trials ever. It's gone through the drug companies' checks and ethical reviews. It's gone through an independent data safety and monitoring board. It's gone through the FDA's independent advisory committee process, transparent and open. It's been subjected to the rigorous and transparent standards published by the FDA. And it's been authorized by FDA's career scientific experts, as I promised. Hoosiers should know, getting this vaccine will help you, your family, and your country be healthy and safe. I want to conclude by thanking everybody here at Catalent for your incredible hard work this year. You know, many of us take pride in members of our family who played a role in either the armed forces or the industrial mobilization it took to win World War II. And those of you who are working such long hours with Operation Warp Speed partners like Catalent are playing a role in an equally historic endeavor for the sake of your fellow Americans and for the whole world. So thank you for that work. And with that, Mr. Vice President, with your permission, would you like me to hand over to Dr. Redfield, or if you had some additional?
Well, let me let people hear from the experts first, and then I'll make a few comments before we hear from all the heroes here at Catalent about the great role that they're playing. But I'll just take 30 seconds to say to you, Governor Holcomb, thank you for your steady leadership over the last 10 months as Vice President, but as a fellow Hoosier. I'm grateful to you, grateful to your administration and the way that you put the health of Hoosiers first. And I'm also incredibly proud to be here at Catalent, a company 2,000 strong, and I just saw all the pride on the people working in those laboratories, preparing vaccines that could well be approved before the week is out. It'll go to millions of Americans, beginning with our healthcare workers and with those most susceptible to the worst outcomes of the coronavirus. So it's a day of an opportunity for us to say thank you, but we're also here for an update on the progress of Operation Warp Speed on the ground here in Indiana with our private partners, but also with your administration and Governor and Alessandro and all the team here at Catalent. Just thank you for your role. I look forward to our discussion, but maybe a few thoughts from where we stand and with regard to vaccines, but also in our overall response to the pandemic. Dr. Robert Redfield has led the Centers for Disease and Control Prevention with great distinction throughout this pandemic and in this administration, and delighted to have him along today. Bob?
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. And I want to add my thanks to all of the employees at Catalent for all that you are doing to ensure that the Americans have access to this vaccine. CDC has worked 24/7 to confront this pandemic, and a critical part of that work has been planning for vaccine distribution and, more importantly, for actual vaccination, where vaccine can get into the arms of people. We've worked with all 64 jurisdictions to help them develop what we call the micro-distribution plan to actually operationalize vaccination, which again we began yesterday. And I just want to acknowledge, Governor, your public health team has really been a great team to work with. They put together one of the strongest plans that we had in this country as we've gone through the 64 jurisdictions, and you should be quite proud of them. The first Americans, as you know, were vaccinated yesterday. CDC continues to try to develop material that's going to help us as we move through the task that we have before us to ensure that all Americans who want to get vaccinated can get vaccinated. We're developing vaccine clinical questions and answers. We're giving summaries and important information related to storage and handling of the vaccine, how to track the vaccine. We basically are developing public web pages on each of the vaccines to help guide the public. We've developed a hotline for clinicians when questions arise. I think we had a open line yesterday, and my team told me there was 186,000 people that were on that line to ask questions. And we've established a new smartphone phone app so that there can be bidirectional discussion about any side effects that may be occurring with the vaccine with the volunteers that have developed the vaccine, because obviously monitoring for adverse reactions is very, very important. But I want to say that I'm extremely confident because of the jurisdiction's hard work, such has been done here in Indiana, and their dedications, that this vaccine program is going to be successful. And we will continue with each jurisdiction till we get the vaccine to all people. I would like to take one moment just to focus on what I see the greatest threat that we have right now. It's not technology. It's not the, I'll say, miraculous reality that two vaccines were developed in less than a year. It's really being aggressive in our unity to confront vaccine hesitancy. We all play an important role in that. Governor, your leadership is really important in that. We need to reinforce a culture of what I call vaccinate with confidence. Vaccines are the greatest gift that modern science has given to medicine. And it's really tragic when they're left on the shelf for an individual, their family, or the community. So I know we can all work together to continue to improve this culture of vaccination with confidence. And these vaccines really offer an additional tool that we need to bring to the pandemic to end it. As the Vice President commented, we're still in the midst of it. This is going to be a tough 2, 4, 6, 8, 12 weeks. So again, we need to double down on our commitment and vigilance for the mitigation steps that we know can confront this outbreak: the wearing of masks, social distancing, washing our hands, being smart about crowds, doing things outside rather than inside, maintaining ventilation. These strategies really do work. We have them at the grasp of our hands. We need to embrace them as we begin to see the ultimate light at the end of the tunnel as we apply the vaccine to finally put this pandemic behind us. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for all you do. I want to thank you for your leadership. And I want to thank the people here for all they're doing to bring this vaccine to the American public.
Thank you, Dr. Redfield. And before we get a report from the ground here at Catalent, let me just bring a few remarks of gratitude and appreciation. You know, as Governor Holcomb just said, we have gone through a season that has wearied the American people. But as the Christmas holiday approaches, this is always a season of hope, but I think that's especially true this year. Because after months of hardship, yesterday, under Operation Warp Speed, we made history with the first coronavirus vaccine being administered in states all across this country. It is remarkable to think, because of the kind of science that is practiced right here at Catalent. Researchers, scientists, federal officials, state health officials working in combination. The development and the manufacture of a vaccine, the experts here will no doubt confirm, usually takes between 8 and 12 years. We are on track not only to develop, manufacture, but distribute a vaccine between 8 and 12 months. It is a medical miracle, and it is in every sense a tribute to American ingenuity and American innovation. We have come to the beginning of the end of the coronavirus pandemic in America. But as I expect you will hear from our panel, and you continue to hear, we have a ways to go. It's one of the reasons why yesterday in our weekly conference call with all of America's governors, we talked about the importance of effective use of therapeutics. And here at Catalent, you also perform the kind of fill finish that's been distributing critical therapeutics, even those developed here at Eli Lilly in Indiana. Therapeutics that have been on the scene since last summer and literally are saving lives every day. But beyond that, all of us have a role to play, and I want to thank Governor Holcomb for your steady leadership, the council of your health officials. I want to thank the support of the likes of State Senator Eric Cook, who is with us today, and the leadership in the General Assembly. I also want to thank Mayor John Hamilton here at Bloomington, and for the leadership that's continued to give people a reminder that even while we see light at the end of the tunnel, and even maybe before the end of this week, the FDA could give emergency use approval to the very vaccines that we just saw being loaded into vials here at Catalent, the Moderna vaccine, that all of us would do well to go back to basics. We see cases rising in many places around the country, particularly on the coast at this time. We see hospitalizations rising, and worst of all, we've seen heartbreaking losses over the course of the year and in recent days. And so we just want to remind every Hoosier, as the good book says, don't become weary in doing well, because in due time you'll reap a harvest, and it'll be a harvest of good health in our country. So, Bob, we all know the basics, don't we? It's wash your hands, practice good hygiene, practice social distancing. When you can't or otherwise indicated in a facility like this, wear a mask. I mean, put the health of your family, your neighbors first. And I'm more confident than ever that given the extraordinary innovation that we're witnessing today, and given the extraordinary implementation under my fellow Hoosier, Secretary of HHS through Operation Warp Speed, we're literally going to watch in the days ahead the distribution of tens of millions of safe and effective vaccines to the American people. Before the end of this week, I am told that the Pfizer vaccine will be distributed in the total of 2.9 million doses to the American people. And as we learned traveling through Catalent's hallways today, pending the approval from the FDA, that some 20 million doses of the Moderna vaccine could be shipped right from this facility out to the point of the need in states across the country. And I'm proud to report to each one of you that Operation Warp Speed has not just been about researching and developing vaccines. It's not just been about manufacturing vaccines and working with great companies like Catalent that literally fill the vials and distribute them out, but it's also been working with some of the greatest logistics companies in the world based here in the United States. It would be a few short days ago that we traveled to the hub of FedEx in Memphis, Tennessee, and as we speak, FedEx is literally airlifting and shipping and driving vaccines to literally thousands of locations all across the country under Operation Warp Speed. UPS is doing the same. If that Moderna vaccine is approved here at Catalent, you'll be shipping it straight out to our great partner, McKesson. And I want people to be confident about this process. The CDC, actually, Bob will probably correct me if the number will be right, but I think the last time you told me that CDC actually oversees the distribution of some 80 million vaccines every year all across this country. So I want people to be confident that we've built Operation Warp Speed and the distribution network that you saw launched over this weekend, resulting in vaccines being administered all across America and here in Indiana just yesterday, that we've actually built on top of the existing distribution a system. We've enhanced it significantly. We're coordinating it all at the federal level and the Operation Warp Speed Center, but we'll continue to do all of that. The last thing I would say to every American is be confident that we have cut red tape, but we've cut no corners when it comes to the development of this vaccine. I look forward in the days ahead to receiving the vaccine myself, and do so without hesitation. The American people can be confident that while we've moved faster than the FDA has ever moved, we have literally not compromised any standard of safety. And as Dr. Redfield said, today I would submit to you, Bob, that we probably have two great challenges. One is to remind the American people that we all continue to have a role to play, to do our part to put the health of our neighbors first, but the other is we want to encourage all of our fellow Americans to be confident about the safety and effectiveness of this vaccine. The FDA essentially has the gold standard for approval, and it has multiple layers, as the governor knows, of independent review for vaccines. And whether it be the Pfizer vaccine that has been approved for emergency use, or whether it be the Moderna vaccine that's being put into vials right here at Catalent that may well be approved before the end of this week, I want to assure people all across this state and all across the country that we've applied that gold standard level of review to these vaccines that have proven out to be not just safe, but in both cases, some 95% effective, which is truly extraordinary. The average flu vaccine is 40 or 50% effective, and I always think it's a good idea to get a flu shot. The American people can be confident this is safe, but also having a vaccine, and now two vaccines that are poised, one for approval, one that's already approved, that have 95% effectiveness. It's in the range, Bob, I think, of a measles vaccine.
Yes, sir.
In terms of its ability to truly prevent the spread. That's why I said at the top of my remarks, this is a medical miracle, not just in the amount of time, but also the effectiveness of these medicines. And even as we speak today, there are fully 4 vaccines that are in phase 3 clinical trials. So while Pfizer's been approved, Moderna being loaded right here in Indiana is just around the corner, there will be more vaccines to come. And Mr. Secretary, you just gave the numbers, the staggering numbers that we remain confident are going to be available for this vaccine for the American people. We have come to the beginning of the end of the coronavirus pandemic. We can see the end from here, but it's been a marathon this year, and it's been a marathon of heartbreak for many American families. And so my heart goes out to each and every one of the families in this state and anyone looking on that may have lost a loved one. Know that there's never been a day that you haven't been in our hearts and in our prayers. But to each and every one of us, I encourage you to step forward and be a part of the solution. Encourage neighbors and friends to take advantage of the vaccine every bit as soon as they're made available. And know that we're taking the guidance of Governor Holcomb here in Indiana and governors around the country. We've made the vaccine available, but we've taken a state-managed approach to this pandemic from the very beginning. And so we understand that here in Indiana there would be certain priorities and challenges the population would face with vaccinations. So we've deferred to not only your governor, but to every governor in the country and states and territories to tell us where those vaccines will be delivered, and through Operation Warp Speed, we're delivering straight to the healthcare providers that are making them available. As I mentioned, we've started with healthcare workers, but we're working with some great retailers, CVS, and Walgreens, that'll actually be administering vaccines in our nursing homes and long-term care facilities. States are signing up for those right now, and we expect those vaccinations to literally begin in the days ahead. So this is a day for great hope. It's a day of great promise, and I just wanted to be here today to get an eyes-on view of a company that's playing a critical role. And Alessandro and Dennis and Scott leading the team here, I hope you'll just tell the 2,000 men and women working here at Catalent, who I know have put in the long hours and have, I'm told, have volunteered for extra shifts to come in literally working 24/7 to meet this moment in the life of the nation, that on behalf of President Trump, on behalf of myself and every member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, we are proud and grateful for all the dedication and the work of the men and women of Catalent, and we're going to continue to partner with you until that day comes that we put this coronavirus in the past and we bring our country all the way back and pass these challenging days. So thank you all very much. And with that, I know the Secretary and the Director and the Governor would certainly welcome a ground report. And Alessandra, we'd be happy to start with you. How goes Operation Warp Speed here? How ready is Catalent to surge into this effort of distributing the Moderna vaccine if it's approved later this week? And how else can we be helpful?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Vice President. I would like to take the opportunity to welcome you again to our facility. It's great honor, Mr. Vice President, Secretary Azar, Governor Holcomb, and Dr. Redfield, to have you here with us. We are proud of what we're doing. We are proud of the role we're playing. We're proud of partnering with Moderna and Mr. Nickerson, that is here today with us, to respond to questions and to reassure you that the 2,000 people here are fully committed in delivering on the promise we made a few months ago, that in the next few months we're going to deliver hundreds of millions of doses of vaccine. And the 2,000 people of this facility are working tirelessly to deliver on that promise, volunteering for production shift over Thanksgiving, over Christmas even, because everybody understands the mission we are on at this facility. Going to your question, Mr. Vice President, we've been...
Can I ask you just to amplify that point, because I think it's astounding. You said that if the FDA approval comes through this week, you believe you'll be in a position to distribute 20 million doses before the end of December.
Yeah.
And then from this facility, you said hundreds of millions of doses of the Moderna vaccine distributed all around the country.
Yeah.
That's
On top of the 20 million,
on top of 20 million.
right?
I think that's actually worth a round of applause to everybody here. I mean, very exciting. Excuse me for interrupting.
No, absolutely, Mr. Vice President. And, you know, we are very, very proud of the partnership we have established with our pharma partners, and in particular with the administration and Operation Warp Speed. There's been an incredible, we often use this word in these times, unprecedented effort, which enabled all of us to do in months what in other times would have taken years. As we speak, Catalent is supporting 75 COVID programs, many of those at this facility, but a few others in our Madison, Wisconsin facility, in Baltimore, in North Carolina, and in Pennsylvania. So it's a collective effort of the Catalent family to support Operation Warp Speed, and it's been incredibly helpful to have Operation Warp Speed supporting us in this effort and helping us prioritizing the supply chain, getting materials, getting everything we need to deliver. This site has been, Mr. Vice President, in an incredible growth trajectory in the last few months, in the last few years. As Governor Holcomb was mentioning, only 1 year ago, we were talking about expanding the facility, and in the last year we hired more than 1,000 people at this facility. We more than doubled the capacity, and we have manufactured hundreds of millions of doses and therapies for patients out there relying on us. And I guess you will join me in thanking our team here for the incredible effort that made this possible. They have accomplished the impossible. At this site, in the last year, we have developed a saying, Mr. Vice President: the impossible is not impossible. Was just never done before. And I'm proud of what this team has been able to accomplish. I would like to thank also the state and the local partners for helping us in this effort. Hiring 1,000 people, training them up, doesn't happen by chance. It happens because there is an infrastructure supporting with the education, with the availability of talent, the growth of the industry. So thanks a lot for the support we have received. Catalent as a whole is one of the leading providers of this industry. We partner with large pharma and biotech in developing incredible treatments and medicines for patients out there. And partners comes with us for our expertise, our deep experience, our flexibility, our flexible capacity, but more importantly for the innovative technology that helps turns molecules into medicines for patients. We have 14,000 people around the world working tirelessly to serve patients and customers, partnering every day with 1,000 customers on 7,000 products and manufacturing and supplying over 70 billion doses across prescription and over-the-counter medicines, but also more advanced therapies like gene therapies and vaccines, like the ones we are discussing here today. So as I wrap up my few remarks, I would like to take the opportunity to state Catalent mission, which is to develop, manufacture, and supply products to help people live better and healthier lives. And this is what we're doing here. Also, let me take the opportunity to share the greetings from our CEO, John Chiminski, which knows well Governor Holcomb. John would have liked to be here today, but given the limitation of attendance, but also some internal policies we've given ourselves to preserve the company, the leadership of the company, and to keep the company safe. Given the critical role we're playing in this world, he couldn't be here, but I'm sure he is following us on the streaming of this event. Thank you again for being here, and thanks for the great words and kind words you spent for us. Is for that we come every day and partner with companies like Moderna, work tirelessly to deliver on our mission. Thanks again. And
Excellent. Thank you, Alessandro.
Governor, back to you for some further questions. So we're happy to, and again, Scott Nicholson here is help to support whatever question you might have about.
Well, I'd love if I could jump in there, Governor. I know you've got some questions. I think I wrote down you're saying impossible is not impossible, it's just never been done before. It is really remarkable to think the way this company, research scientists, other companies around the country have answered that call. And Operation Warp Speed is just emblematic of companies being prepared to do what had never been done before. And as President Trump set this effort into motion, I'll never forget, in early March, Secretary Azar was there. The President brought together all those great pharmaceutical companies and said, we need medicines and we need a vaccine. And we need them as soon as possible. They all took that charge, and you all took that charge and went after it. So I just want to thank you for that. But maybe Dennis, Governor, with your leave, Dennis, how it goes here? Can you give us a thumbnail on how prepared Catalent is? We saw those vials. We saw them being filled, being labeled. The Moderna vaccine, if it's approved, ready to go out. You said 20 million doses before the end of this month. Talk to us about your confidence level and your great team.
That's correct, Mr. Vice President. My confidence level is high. I think we're tracking well to that 20 million doses by the end of this month. And when you look at how that converts, we're making 500,000 doses a day. And we're quickly ramping up to 1 million doses a day. In order to do the 100 million in Q1, we're really having to be just over 1 million doses a day. And I think that the team is tracking really well, thanks to some very great employees that are working tirelessly. And I really appreciate, Mr. Vice President, your visit and taking the time out of your busy schedule. I think it means a lot to the team to have you here, noting their efforts, because they are working tirelessly, and I think they're doing an awesome job. So I'm highly confident, and I do think we are ready for that. I also want to thank Operation Warp Speed. General Perna has been here several times helping us out, And he's actually assigned Major Dumbravo, who I think is in the audience, that we have here full-time helping us out. And we are able to, with their help, partner with our clients, such as Mr. Nickerson from Moderna. And it's a true partnership that goes from the floor all the way through with the clients coming in the door with these beautiful molecules that can change our lives. This epidemic and pandemic has been like nothing in recent memory, in that we do a lot of drugs. We do over 120 molecules here, and we do business with 18 of the largest 25 biopharmas. But there's probably been no molecule and no pandemic or disease that has as much affected our community, whether it's wearing masks, whether it's schools being out. There's nowhere you can go that hasn't been impacted. And to know that there's a line of sight to things that are either going to help alleviate, as treatments, or vaccines that prevent, is truly an awesome thing. It's an awesome responsibility for the site. But to answer your question, I am confident we can hit those numbers by the end of the month and by the end of Q1.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to give it to the governor, but I just, I hope the people here at Catalent know that what they're doing is healing America. Distributing those medicines, the therapeutics that are, even as we speak, being administered to people dealing with the coronavirus. But this moment that they've all prepared for will heal our land. And I want to make sure that message reaches all of these great people. We met a few of them through the glass of the laboratories, but I wish I could elbow bump every one of them and thank them all personally, because I'm incredibly proud. Governor?
Yeah, it's the very definition of patriotism, isn't it? I mean, you talk about healing the land and protecting and giving folks peace of mind more than the hope they know is right around the corner. And there's further news to be upbeat about. I can tell you, as of yesterday, what I alluded to at the outset of watching those trucks set out on the road and then watching sleeves get rolled up. One of our first shots administered was up at Parkview, you're familiar with, up in Fort Wayne in Allen County, Indiana, yesterday. And Terrence was one of the first to get his vaccination, and he actually got his vaccination on his birthday. So a pretty special day for Terrence, but recognizing that he represents this first wave, this high priority group of frontline workers all over the state. We also were in Clark County yesterday. We're in 3 other hospitals yet this week. It expands to 50 different facilities. And it shouldn't be lost, thank you, that you're shipping direct to the hospitals.
Right.
I mean, this is a big, game-changing part of the equation. You could have very easily just sent it to the state, and we would have handled it. But by going directly to these providers, and as many as we could select and were ready and qualified to receive, the efficiency of this whole operation gives me a really high level of confidence. And knowing that we're signing people up, we have the structure, the infrastructure is in place, the registry is in place, and to watch that folks signing up to get vaccinated, and just to watch it tick up from 20,000 people across the state of Indiana to waking up this morning and go, nope, we're over 35,000 now, nope, we're up to, so that first wave of 55,000, but then turns into when we're starting to and partner with CVS and Walgreens and get into the long-term care centers and our nursing homes. When Moderna comes online in the state of Indiana, I mean, we're not looking back. We're just building layer after layer after layer into every small town and big city across the state of Indiana. And what you mentioned yesterday on our conference call about, you think about from April of last year to April of April of this year to April of next year, what's being accomplished? What's being accomplished in 8 to 12 months compared to 8 to 12 years, typically? This is life-saving. And to know, Scott, and I'll pitch it to you here for some comments about what's to come, This is what we've been waiting for, and it's good news. And with that,
If I may, Scott, I'll give you a chance to think about what the big question he posed. Governor, I want to thank you. You heard the director of CDC say Indiana's had one of the strongest plans from early on. We are shipping directly. General Perna, under Operation Warp Speed with the Secretary, are shipping directly to hospitals, to clinics, but Governor, it is consistent with the priorities of the plan that you've put into effect. So I want to thank you again for enlisting those healthcare providers and working with us. But again, it's one more example where I just want the people of Indiana to know that in any state that's looking on, we're shipping direct, but we're shipping direct to what your governors and your state health officials have said. These are the healthcare providers that are going to be in a place to implement the priorities that you've set for the state. So, and here in Indiana, Governor, very, very quickly, your focus is on healthcare workers, frontline workers, first responders, if you will, and then nursing homes. How quickly do you think you'll be vaccinating nursing homes? Because one of the things that's broken our hearts from early on is that some 40% of our fatalities in the coronavirus pandemic have been people in nursing homes. Elderly with underlying health conditions are the most vulnerable. Governor, I know you've made that a priority.
Yeah, it's about half for us. It's about 50% for us. So when you think about those over 6,600 deaths, over half are in the long-term care facilities or nursing homes. So within a week of offering vaccinations, we'll be in our long-term care centers, and we're ready to go. So,
and you're comfortable with the Walgreens CVS implementation?
Yep. We've tested it.
Get to the nursing homes that you want to focus on.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, not to overstate it, but this is an example of what we've asked for. Asking you shall receive. Like what we've asked for, you've delivered on. It's been a true, as you mentioned, public-private partnership every step of the way. And that's going to make all the difference in the world for individuals throughout our state.
We really believe so.
Mr. Vice President,
Please.
If I could just brag on Dr. Redfield and the CDC for a second. These initial shipments that are going out this week directly to hospitals that the governors have selected, the CDC has actually sent CDC officials on the ground to those hospitals to make sure that in these initial days everything goes smoothly. It's part of the approach that General Perna and the CDC have taken to just add extra protections to attempt to minimize execution errors or operational failures in these early days as we get this monumental system up and running. So I want to commend Dr. Redfield for his foresight and attention there.
Thank you.
Huge.
And Governor, I wanted to report to you, and then Scott, I'd love you to answer that big question from your leadership position here at Catalan. As we see cases rising and hospitalizations rising in places around the country, I want to assure the American people that we've never been better prepared to combat the coronavirus pandemic than we are today. And while we're distributing medicines, we're distributing vaccines through Operation Warp Speed, we're continuing to encourage people to do their part. We are working every day to scale testing resources around the country. Some 200 million coronavirus tests have been performed. I'm happy to report today that the FDA just approved a home-based, over-the-counter COVID-19 test, first of its kind. Let me say that again. It's without a prescription. FDA today approved the first over-the-counter COVID-19 test that people can perform in their home. And again, it's all part of the medical innovation that we've been driving relentlessly every step of the way. And also, Governor, I want to assure you that our hospitals at the CDC and our team regularly monitors capacity, bed space, and supplies at every individual hospital in America. And we are working around the clock to ensure that our hospitals have the PPE, the supplies, the equipment, and the staffing to be able to meet this moment. So I just wanted to encourage you with those words, Governor. You can encourage the people of this state that as we work on medicines and vaccines, we're continuing to lean into the effort, including with that breakthrough today about the first at-home, over-the-counter coronavirus test for the American people. So, Scott, the way forward, the governor asked you. I thought it's a great stepping-off question.
Yeah, very good. Nice, pleasure to be here, Mr. Vice President, Secretary Azar, Governor Holcomb, Dr. Redfield. It's an honor to be here representing Moderna and all of the hardworking scientists, clinicians, quality personnel, manufacturing personnel. We have been at this now for the better part of actually about 9 months since we received the sequence for the coronavirus in January, and making phase 1 material in February and on through phase 2 and phase 3 to where we are now, with hopeful distribution pending, of course, emergency use approval from the FDA of up to about 6 million doses post the EUA, 20 million by the end of the month, and then 100 million total in Q1, with an additional 100 million in Q2 of this year. I would say
I don't want to embarrass you, but I want to say Moderna is an incredible American success story.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, this is a company that worked hand in glove with our team out at the National Institute of Health. We received the sequencing for the coronavirus vaccine. I've got it in my note, January 10th.
Yep.
And on January 11th, NIH and your team began the process, and within 6 weeks, you were already in phase 1 clinical trials. So I just want people to understand the incredible entrepreneurial spirit that Moderna has brought to this, and how exciting it is to be just a few days away from now where that vision, that energy is about to produce, we believe, likely the approval of millions of doses of your vaccine. So I just want to commend you.
No, thank you very much, sir. And this partnership and collaboration with NIH started well before COVID came along. We actually were partnered with NIH on MERS and had successful preclinical data there. So when this unfortunate situation hit, we were able to hit the ground running in partnership with the NIH. I will reiterate, I think this has been all possible because of partnership and collaboration across the board, not only internally within Moderna and all the hardworking scientists and operators that are really working. They've been working around the clock for 24/7 for the past 9 months. And while we feel we've achieved a lot so far, we still feel like we're at the starting line. So to answer your specific question, what's to come? What's to come for us is delivering on the manufacturing of the vaccine and delivering it to the American public over the coming months in 2021. This has not been possible without collaboration and singular focus. Catalent has been a great partner with us. We refer to Catalent as a contract manufacturing organization, but they've truly been an actual partner. We feel like one team with them. And we could not have done that without that partnership. I'll say the same thing about General Perna and his team. They've been with us the entire way. Colonel Suarez, Major Granados, Major Dumbravo have all been at our side to help us as we need to run down key or critical materials and equipment to keep this engine moving along. So we're grateful for that collaboration, and that's what's, I think, allowed us to work so quickly together.
Can you talk about, Scott, about the volume of the supply? I know what our contracts call for, but what's Moderna's? We're on track, 20 million doses before the end of this month, but as we lean into this effort in 2021, where do you see the production capability?
Yes, sir. So 20 million by the end of the year, and then we're on track to fulfill the 100 million contract by Q1. So that includes the 20 million towards the end of the year. So 80 million in Q1, and then an additional 100 million in Q2. So as Dennis and Alessandro mentioned, we've been ramping. We really started the ramping, the GMP manufacturing activities in Q4 of this year. So we're really starting to get our legs under us and get into a rhythm. And it's exciting to see the teams come together and really produce millions, really, frankly, millions of doses per week.
Well, I hope you will convey to the whole team at Moderna the gratitude of the President and all of us on the White House Coronavirus Task Force. I don't know if the week's gone by, we haven't talked about Moderna's work, and we're great admirers, but to be able to be here with you to convey that gratitude and admiration, each and every one of your dedicated scientists and employees. It's a privilege for me. So
we're honored.
we're especially this week. So 20 million doses before the end of this month, 100 million doses in the first quarter, 2021.
That 100 million includes the 20 million from Q4.
Got it. So 100 million total, and then another 100 million in the second quarter.
Yes, sir.
So great. By the middle of the year, 200 million doses
Correct.
for the American people. Extraordinary. Mr. Secretary?
It's just incredible. It's an American success story, and I think it shows the incredible nature of the partnership that you and the President have established within the government, across the whole of government, partnership between HHS and DOD, then the partnership between the government and the private sector, and then here represented with Governor Holcomb is that partnership of the federal government with the state government. Sort of all three of those partnerships are so foundational to making this work for the American people.
Well, Mr. Secretary, thank you. I think as we wrap up, Governor, I'll give you the second to last word, but let me say to Scott Nickerson, the Moderna team, Alessandro, and of course Dennis and the whole team here at Catalent, just thank you for this briefing today. We serve alongside a president that likes us to slam the door and kick the tires, and so we've been traveling the country, talking to our key partners in Operation Warp Speed, and I look forward to bringing back a good report to him and to all the members of our task force about what you all are doing here. So I thank you for that. And Bob Redfield, maybe a parting word before we hear from the governor and sign off for the day.
Well, I just want to reiterate how exciting this last week has been. I mean, and really want to thank the men and women that are going the extra mile here at Catalent for your efforts. You know, this is going to be a difficult month, but I think we all know that we are at the beginning of the end, and the importance of science innovation that can be brought to bear, and I think more importantly, the spirit of the impossible is not the impossible, it just hasn't been done yet, is such an important motto for people to remember what was accomplished over the last 8, 9, 10 months.
That's great. Thank you, Bob. Governor?
Yeah, I think even beyond the partnership, it's been a companionship. It's every step of the way. We're all learning from each other, and I especially appreciate a real healthy dose of impatience, quite frankly, from everyone. And you mentioned looking under the hood and kicking the tires and seeing what's there, but the real, warp speed approach to this all and not cutting corners has led us to this day. And simultaneously, what we talked about yesterday as well, what gives me a lot of hope and optimism is the therapeutics that are available right now. And so we've got Catalent and we've got Eli Lilly and Moderna, and Eli Lilly's been leaning into the therapeutics, in a big way that's helping on what you talked about, that hospitalization rate. And so both of these, kind of the 1-2 punch back, the therapeutics and the vaccination, this is going to put us in a much better position than we've ever been to date. And all the credit goes to your leadership, and I appreciate you.
You're very kind, Governor. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for making time for this briefing today. Scott Nickerson, thank you again. Our best to the whole team at Moderna. And Alessandro, it's an honor to be here with you, and I hope you'll give the CEO our gratitude and our thanks. And Dennis, I hope you'll convey to everybody here on the ground in Bloomington how proud we are as fellow Hoosiers, but how grateful I am as Vice President for the role that they've played, the long hours they've put in, will continue to put in over the coming holiday season. That's literally going to save lives and change lives in this country. And so just God bless you and all the team here at Catalent. God bless folks at Moderna and all those looking on. We have come to the beginning of the end of the coronavirus pandemic in America, but we all still have a role to play. We encourage everyone within the sound of our voice to be confident that this vaccine, and once approved, will be safe and effective, and we want to encourage the American people with that word. We want to build confidence about the use of the vaccine that continues to rise all across the country. We want to reassure people that as we see cases rising and hospitalizations rising, that we're going to continue to work around the clock to make sure our hospitals have all the resources and the staffing needed to give your family the same level of care that we'd want a member of our family to have. So we see light at the end of the tunnel. Hope is on the way. But lest I forget to mention it one more time, I just encourage everyone across this state and all those looking on across the country to wash your hands, practice good hygiene, wear a mask whenever it's indicated or when you can't social distance. And I just know that with the cooperation of the American people, with great leadership in states across the country, like Governor Holcomb, with the dedication of all of our federal health officials in Operation Warp Speed, and with these extraordinary American business partners, we'll get through this the way the American people always do. We'll get through this together. So thank you all very much, and God bless you.